When I started my business, I had my camera, I had a lot of passion, and I had some drive. But the truth is, I had absolutely zero idea on what it would take to run a business. And honestly, I'm glad I didn't know that, because if I did know the truth of it, I probably would have been really scared to start the business. Today, I want to share with you 7 lessons I've learned in the 7 years of owning my business. As you're listening to this, I want you to take with you whatever resonates and leave what doesn't. As always, we are coming to the table and we are taking the things that we need to hear and leaving the rest. I hope that some of what I am sharing with you is able to give you perspective and hopefully save you some frustration, tears, or at a minimum, feeling like you're failing at your business. Because I'm here to tell you, you're not. Lesson number 1, and this is one that I'm still learning, is that success isn't a number, it's a feeling. It's not followers, it's not income, and it's not a milestone. While all of those things are going to give you some sense of accomplishment and some sense of satisfaction and validation in all of the efforts that you're making. Ultimately, what I have realized is that once you hit those moments, you move the goalpost. And what I've found is that if we're constantly moving that goalpost, we never have the chance to settle into what that feels like to accomplish. What I found is that true success comes from this sense of feeling content. It's the ability to recognize that you have freedom in the choices and the way that you shape and structure your day. It's in the ability to feel and have a sense of peace with yourself and the way that your business is operating. But like I said, this is all something that I have been recently learning. Last year was the first year where I hit my revenue goal. And I thought that when I hit that number, that automatically I would feel something different, that I would finally feel validated and I would finally feel really good and pumped. And while I did feel really good in hitting that number, what I realized was that I wasn't ready and I wasn't calibrated to be in that space. I was still operating from a place of scarcity, needing to save, and pushing myself. And in the reflection of what it means to feel successful, because by all means, last year I should have felt the most successful I had ever felt, I have come to recognize that success is more a way of being. It's a state of being versus this moment in time that is going to automatically give you this success that we all are aspiring to have. Wherever you are in your business right now, what I really want to challenge you to do is ask yourself, what does a satisfied day look and feel like? What does a satisfied month look like? Don't want to just think within the parameters of our business, though that's really great. We also want to be thinking about our life, because most of us are starting this business or have this business because we want more freedom. But most of us are still operating like we're working at a 9-to-5 corporate job, and we end up feeling resentful. We end up feeling stressed and overwhelmed, burnt out. And if you're really passionate about building a business that supports you, you want to start asking yourself this question soon as you know that it's a question that you need to ask yourself. Lesson number 2, and this is a big one, being good at your craft is not enough. You have to learn how to run a business. This is one of the biggest reasons small businesses fail, is because many people get into it because they're really passionate about the thing that they do. And then they quickly realize that that's only a fraction of what they're actually doing in a day-to-day of their business. While the talent of the thing that you do or create really matters, what also matters is strategy, systems, and structures. These aspects of your business really matter because we could be really great at what we do and end up feeling burnt out and stuck in a constant loop, almost like a hamster wheel, when we don't have the structure behind us to support our business. Lesson number 3, you're not seeing results because you're chasing the shiny carrot. This lesson was really hard for me to take in because I was frustrated and annoyed that I wasn't making the progress that I wanted to make. And when I took the time to look back on my agendas and my project goals, I realized that I had written the exact same goals and project ideas that I had written 12 months earlier, and I had made no progress on those. And that was a hard realization for me because what it said to me was that I was chasing these new systems that were giving me the promise of a quick fix. And even if it wasn't giving me the promise of a quick fix, I still was getting distracted and like, that's going to solve all of my problems. That's going to help me. That's going to give me the answer. And one of the biggest pieces of seeing success, being patient enough to stick with the thing, to have enough data to actually know if it works. And this is huge. A lot of business owners will start something and within a month, they give up on it because they're not seeing the results that they want to see. And the way that I like to kind of compare it is compound interest. When you first start investing, you're only getting fraction of money on the investments that you're making. But over time, as your interest accrues, you start to make money on the interest that you're making. And what ends up happening is you are compounding that effort. So before you know it, you're making double, triple, quadruple what you would. But you have to get through those early stages of that investing where you're seeing very little return on the money that you're putting in. You've got to get past that to see the true fruits of your labor. And a lot of small business owners don't have the patience to see the fruits of their labor. They shift their focus, they follow a new thing and new system, and then they abandon ship. When I started to root down and get super disciplined and say, this is the only thing that I'm going to be focusing on, this is the thing that I'm staying the course on, that's when I started to see the biggest shift. That's when I started to see the biggest growth. That's when I started to feel less distracted, less chaotic, and more in control of how my business was moving. We often hear consistency used whenever we're talking about social media or email newsletters, that sort of thing. But one of the ways in which you can approach this is, how can I be consistent in this path that I have chosen for my business? Here's one thing that I stuck with that ended up being one of the best decisions I could have made for my business, and it was SEO. I talk about this all the time. It was one of the very first classes that I paid for when I was doing all of the research on owning a business. I purchased this SEO course. I took the course, and when I hired my first business coach, she asked me, what is one thing that you're putting off, that you're not doing, that you said you were going to do? And I said, well, it's the SEO for my website. And she said, that's because it's boring. That's because it's hard. And I was like, oh, yeah, she's right. So from that point on, I committed to really understanding SEO and focusing in on that. But here's the thing, with SEO, it takes anywhere from 6 to 12 to 18 months to really start to see your efforts, especially if you're just launching your business. I was putting all of this time and energy into my SEO and my website, but I wasn't seeing immediate results. And that was really hard because it's hard to end your day doing all of this work to feel like you have nothing to show for it. Now, my website, since I would say year 2 of my business, it's one of the top generators for leads. It's on autopilot. I don't have to think about it really. I go in, I update things. I've got a routine for creating blog posts, and it's there. People can find me. And had I not done that, I would be in a very different place in my business. What I'd like for you to think about is there something in your project list that you have been putting off that you keep saying, I'll get to it, I'll get to it, I'll get to it? How can you put that as a priority, and for the next 3 to 6 months, commit that that's the thing that you are focused on? Lesson number 4, and they're all big ones, but your business is not your identity. When I started my business, it was my identity. It was the thing that I was wholly focused on. It was the thing that I was obsessed with. And it's really great that that's how it started. But as I moved through my business, one of the things that I realized was that I was neglecting other parts of my life. I was neglecting my friendships, I was neglecting my friends, I was neglecting my relationship on some level. And it was because I was consumed with my business, my business, my business, my business. And one day I kind of woke up and I was like, well, wait, who is Leanne outside of business? If tomorrow, for some reason, this was gone, what would my life be like? What would it be about? And I realized in that moment that my identity could not be wrapped into this one thing, that there are all of these beautiful parts of my life and special things that make my life feel whole and good. And from that moment on, I started to challenge myself to reclaim the different parts of my life. I didn't start this business to have it consume my life and to be the number one priority. I started this business to support my life, to make my life better, to give me the opportunity to live in a space and place of joy and freedom and love. When we attach our worth to how our business is doing, we end up finding ourselves on this emotional roller coaster that's really hard to ride for an extended period of time. If you're feeling like this resonates with you, what's one way you can put a boundary around your business so that you can take some of your identity back? And what is it that you would choose to do if you gave less energy to your business? Lesson number 5, and we don't talk about this one enough. The success in your business depends on how you care for your mental health. Your mental health is so important when it comes to showing up. The burnout isn't worth it. Your nervous system, your capacity, your boundaries, this is the infrastructure of your business. And when we are not nurturing and keeping that safe and prioritizing that, we struggle. When I first started my business, I would say the first 2 years of my business, I would work on the weekends. Basically, I was working 24/7. I'd check my emails, I'd be on Instagram, working, consuming for work, all of the things. And as I moved through and I realized again how much of my identity was wrapped up and how much it was consuming me, I made the decision to end my day at a specific time. I created a ritual around ending this day. And then from then on, it was no more business. I wasn't looking at my email. I wasn't scrolling Instagram from the perspective of owning a business. And this shift really helped me feel more excited, more engaged, more willing and ready to be involved in my business. I don't think that when someone says I'm working all the time in my business, that that's a badge of honor. I actually see that as a sign for burnout and eventual resentment. Of course, there are people who probably love working in their business 24/7, but it perpetuates an unhealthy idea that in order for your business to be successful or in order to be doing business right, that you have to be on 24/7. And again, I just am going to keep coming back to this. Like, why did you start your business if you're just going to act like you're working for a corporation that gives no shits about you, your personal life, and your humanity? Why? Why would you do that to yourself? I don't understand it. All right. Lesson number 6. There are seasons in your business and they're all necessary. This one is tough. They're all tough. What am I saying? There are going to be moments of growth. There are going to be moments of visibility. There are going to be moments of retreat. There are going to be moments of catharsis and destroying. And each of these are important and are necessary for the evolution and the growth of your business. Just like the seasons, your business is going to be very similar. And it's okay to honor and respect those moments because we can't be on all the time. Learning how to trust the rhythm of your business creates a sense of ease. For me, right now, I am in a season of catharsis and seed planting. I'd like you to reflect and ask yourself what season you're in and what is this season teaching you. Lesson number 7. The sooner you charge appropriately, the better your business and life will feel. Undercharging doesn't serve anyone, not you, not your clients, not your industry. And I know why it's so hard to charge appropriate rates, because our relationship with money is so personal and often very troubled. But pricing isn't just about numbers. It's about respect. It's about sustainability. It's about your energy. And when we're able to charge the appropriate rate, what we're doing is we are teaching other people that they can do the same, and we are lifting each other up together. Because you know what happens when you can charge appropriate rates? You can hire people and you can pay them well instead of paying them, close to minimum wage. When you charge appropriately, you're able to donate to charities the way you want. You're able to support other local businesses by buying from them. All of this contributes to a better society. So the quicker you're able to charge appropriately, the quicker you are fighting back against a system that says that wealth and prosperity are only for a certain number of people. We show that it's possible to do this without being inhumane and terrible, terrible people like all those billionaires that we can name. If you want more bits on that, listen to my recent podcast episode, You're Not Too Expensive. Okay, I'm going to leave you with this. A few other things that I've learned along the way. Scarcity marketing, not my thing. I don't like it. I think it creates an ick vibe. I know that some people do it. I just choose not to participate in it. No one has it all figured out. Everyone is just guessing. And anyone who's telling you that they've got it all figured out is a liar, pants on fire. There's enough to go around for everyone. There's enough pie in the sky for us all. And when you have some of that, it does not mean someone else is losing. The unsexy stuff, bookkeeping, taxes, SEO, all of that really matters. Okay, now that's it. That's all I got for you. What I want you to think about, marinate on, is which of these points, these lessons resonated with you most? And what lesson have you learned? I'd love to hear from you. Leave me a comment below and share the lesson. Alrighty, friends, that's it. That's all we have for today. And as always, you got this damn thing. Not again!